Hello children, welcome back. And this is Priya, your English teacher from Alpha Group of Institutions. And I'm here back again after this unit 2 to discuss chapter 5, The Summit Within, which is in the English literature book. So what are we are going to discuss today? We are going to discuss chapter 5, The Summit Within from English literature book. The summit within what we are going to discuss in that, children. Shall we see what is there? So before going into the direct lesson, what is the summit within and what we are going to discuss in this lesson, let us see. Okay. For going into the lesson, here is a small introduction given here. That is, before you read. Major HPS Ahluwalia was a member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in 1965. How did he feel when he stood on the highest point in the world? Let us hear his story in his words. Climbing the summit and then the more difficult task of climbing the summit within. So, it means guys, the summit within, if like giving the introduction for this lesson, the major what is his name, HBS Ahluwalia was the member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in the year of 1965. Okay. In this lesson, he has given his ideology, he has conveyed his experience. He talked to us about his experience of climbing the world's highest mountains, highest hills. Okay, what is that? So, he conveyed, he expressed, or else he talked about his experience about the climbing of the world's highest summit. He tells the readers, it means us, he tells us like how the physical contrast changes, how the physical strength changes one on a person and spiritual level. So how the physical things changes one person in both personal and also in the spiritual level also. And after talking about all this, after conveying about climbing the physical summit means climbing bodily. He has also talked about the task of climbing the summit within. He is expressing both like talking the climbing the summit physically and also the summit, how he has climbed, how he has overcome all those difficult tasks within also mentally. So that is what we are going to read in this lesson when we have to come across what he had told us in this chapter. Okay guys? Okay, let us enter into the lesson now. So I'll be reading each and every line and explain you as usual. From the beginning I am doing the same thing, right? And I hope you also know how your English teacher teaches you. So be ready with your be ready with your lessons. Open the textbook, take the pencil, be ready. So line by line I'll be reading and will be explaining you in detail. My face may not be visible in the other slides because I want you also to come along with me. That is why I am typing the whole lesson. So reading in the textbook or just watching me here will be the difficult. So that is why I have typed the whole lesson in the slide so that you can easily come along with me when I am moving the cursor on the screen. Understood guys? So let us enter the lesson. Okay. Now coming to the textbook part. Of all the emotions which surged through me as I stood on the summit of Everest, looking over miles of panorama below us, the dominant one, I think, was humility. The physical in me seemed to say, "Thank God, it's all over." However, instead of being jubilant, there was a ting of sadness. Was it because I had already done the ultimate in climbing and there would be nothing higher to climb and all roads hereafter would lead down? So before starting the detailed description of this paragraph, children, summit means what? The summit means it is the height of a peak, the highest end of a mountain or hill, the edge, the peak we call as summit. So in order to describe paragraph 1, so here the writer wants to tell us, convey us that the author begins the story here by telling us, the readers who are reading this lesson. Here the author wants to tell the readers, tell us about the rush of multiple emotions he felt as he stood on the highest point of Mount Everest. It means he wants to express the way how his emotions used to fight between them, and he used to feel as if he is standing on the highest point of the Mount Everest. The huge panorama. What is meant by panorama? It is a view of wide area. When we are standing at the point and we are viewing a wide area, it is called a panorama. So, this huge panorama below them made them feel little and modest. Climbing up to the top had made him so tired, and his physical strength was glad it was over. So, when he reached the author is saying that when he reached the highest peak of the mountain, he was really feeling tired, but his body, his physical strength, even though his body feels tired, his physical strength was really thankful, that feeling as if it was all over after reaching the peak. Okay. But however he is feeling, rather than feeling proud and joyous and happy having climbed the highest peak, he felt little sad also. Even though he reached the top, he reached the peak, he must be naturally proud and happy, right? He should be jumping with happiness. But at the corner of the heart, the author was really very sad, guys. Why? Let us see. The only probable reason for his sadness is that he had now become proficient by climbing the highest point, and all the roads from that point will only lead downwards. Means what he is feeling is he had come across all the toughest roads and already reached the highest peak. But from that peak, now whatever road he takes, whatever road he wants to take, it will definitely lead him downwards only. From that peak, there is no way, right? He had to step down only to take another lead. That is why he is feeling very sad. Okay, guys. Now, next paragraph. By climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. It is a joy which lasts a lifetime. The experience changes you completely. The man who has been to the mountains is never the same again. Is never the same again. As I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit. The summit of the mind, no less formidable and no easier to climb. No easier to climb. Even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exhaustion had gone, I began asking myself the question why I had climbed the Everest. Why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? It was already a thing of the past, something done yesterday. With every passing day, it would become more remote. And then what would remain? Would my memories fade slowly away? So, children, here the author is really very serious about his experience. He wants to express that the author is conveying that whenever he is thinking about when that he had already climbed the summit of Everest, he already reached the peak of the Everest, he cannot help but think about another significant summit. It is natural, right? When we are earning something, our curiosity increases. We humans will never be satisfied with what we are having. We always look for a greater one. In the same way, even though he had reached the top of the Everest, still he has something in the mind that he needs to search for another summit also, and which is of his mind, which is not easier to climb either. Now one of the Mount Everest is one of the toughest thing, difficult route, but he had already crossed it, and now the other summit which he wants to decide is it should be even more toughest than when compared to Everest, which is not easier to climb, and it should not be any less challenging when comparing to the what? Everest. And once he had completed climbing Everest, he returned and recovered from the physical exhaustion, means because he's already tired, right? After he had finished climbing Everest, he returned and recovered. He was now normal. He came to the normal position from his tiredness, and he began to ask himself the reason as to why he climbed the highest peak. He had done everything, reached at the top, and again he had returned. He was back to normal, and now he is asking himself that why he needs to climb the highest peak. And it was really difficult for him to understand why he had such an impact on imagination all the time. He used to really think he had done everything, but still why his mind and heart was not satisfied, and he was also thinking that why he is still this sort of imagination is making him to struggle, that making him uncomfortable, unsatisfactory, right? And even when it was a thing of the past, he knew that as each day passes, day by day, the days are passing, he also knew that the experience also will get old. He knows that as days pass, time passes, his experiences also would get old. But at that moment, he was unsure if the memory would remain or fade away slowly. When his experiences are becoming really old, he was not sure that even his memory also remain without, he wants to his memory also to be sharp. He don't want to forget everything. As he is feeling that experience are becoming old, he was not sure that even his memories also will stay away. He stays as same. He feels that it also fades away. He forgets everything. That is the only struggle which is hitting his mind continuously. Okay. The next one. All these thoughts led me to question myself as to why people climb mountains. It is not easy to answer the question. The simplest answer would be as others have said, because it is there. The present it presents great difficulties. Man takes delight in overcoming obstacles. The obstacles is climbing a mountain or physical. A climb to a summit means endurance, persistence, and willpower. The demonstration of these physical qualities is no doubt exhilarating, as it was for me also. I have a more personal answer to the question. From my childhood, I have been attracted by mountains. I had been miserable, lost, were away from mountains. In the plains, mountains are nature at its best. Their beauty and majesty pose a great challenge, and like many, I believe that mountains are a means of communication with God. And when coming to the explanation part, guys, even though even though he came to know like that all his thoughts that came in the like all the thoughts which entered into the author's mind made him to ask continuously, to ask himself continuously randomly as to why people are climbing mountains. This question used to strike his mind regularly, and it is not easy, and he feels that it's not at all easy to answer that question in a simplest way because it is there. Climbing a mountain poses great challenges. Is it so, children? When all the thoughts that came into the author's mind like made him ask himself why people climb mountains. And he also knew the answer will not be really easy because the answer is always one thing. What is it? Because it is there. Climbing a mountain will be, it means everyone likes to climb the mountain, right? Climbing a mountain poses great challenges. And we also know that overcoming these obstacles with pleasures to climbers, and these climbers who are willing to climb the mountains, they are really feeling happy to face the challenges. Even though the snow mountains, if you see in the TV and all, children, when they know climbing is difficult, but even though when a snow falls or whatever the thing, the climatic conditions, they still fight back to climb and reach the peak because they feel some sort of pleasure, self happiness in facing those obstacles and reaching the peak. That is why they always try to climb the mountains even though they are overcoming all these difficulties on the way. And in climbing a mountain, these difficulties which they are facing are physical, such as tolerance. It is even though they have a mental pressure that they have to save their lives, but these difficulties, obstacles, the hardness, like what to say, the disturbances which are coming across on their way will hurt them physically also, as it is they feel like intolerance, it will be like torturing them, their willpower and determination to keep you going. They always feel that whatever the problems are coming on the way, their willpower and the determination to dedication to reach the goal makes them to keep going, keep climbing. And the exhibition of these physical qualities and one's awareness towards them, and on the other hand the thrilling and same was the case of for the author. So even the physical strength, physical qualities, and what they know what is going to happen, and they are ready how to face it and how to overcome, and how to they are mentally fixed how to reach the peak, and they started to climb the mountain. So all these things, it's really, even we can apply this to the author also. Even he is also having, he also knew that all the what all the physical qualities he needs to climb and reach the goal, reach his goal. He's ready to do that. Is it so? And he have one more personal answer to this question as to why he wanted to climb mountain. Till now in the first paragraph he had a doubt that everybody is asking why, like all the thoughts, he used to ask a question in his himself, ask a question himself that why people should climb mountains, and he said that the answer is because it is there. Everybody likes to enjoy the pleasure of climbing the mountains. But he has also one another personal answer to this question, like for what question, like why he wanted to climb the mountains. He had been immensely attracted to mountains since childhood. He is really attracted to the mountains. He loves to climb the mountains, and he has a passion of climbing the mountains from his childhood. And he used to feel lost and unhappy in the plains when he was away from the mountains. He used to feel dull, he used to feel sad, he used to feel something is missing when he is away from the mountains. And when he is close to the mountains, he used to feel happy, and he likes to climb the mountains from his childhood. He feels mountains are nature at its best. Mountains are nature in its best form, although their magnificence, although their attraction, although their beauty, they are beautiful, right? The beautiful pose, the structure of the mountains, and the like significant challenges which the challenges the mountains are throwing, those challenges, which challenges are thrown by the mountains towards the people. The author, along with a lot of people, they still believe that mountains provide a very big platform for sharing so many personal thoughts and feelings directly with God. So whenever they are climbing and reaching the goal, they always feel that when they are facing all the obstacles which are overcoming on the path, and when they are reaching the goal, they always think that not only author and all the people who are climbing the mountains, they feel that they are just directly sharing their personal thoughts or their feelings or their prayers directly to the God, directly with the God, as if they're sharing with the God, right? That is what the author is the author wants to convey us in these two paragraphs. Okay. Now, once having granted this, the question remains, why Everest? Because it is the highest, the mightiest, and has defeated many previous attempts. It takes the last ounce of one's energy. It is a brutal struggle with rock and ice. Once taken up, it cannot be given up halfway, even when one's life is at stake. The passage back is as difficult as the passage onwards. And then, when the summit is climbed, there is the exhilaration, the joy of having done something, the sense of a battle fought and won. There is a feeling of victory and of happiness. So, glimpsing a peak in the distance, I get transported to another world. I experience a change within myself which can only be called mystical. By its beauty, aloofness, might, ruggedness, and the difficulties encountered on the way, the peak draws me to it as Everest did. It is a challenge that is difficult to resist. And the explanation for this paragraph is, children, like once having granted, this means once we are having like even once having found out, even though he found the reason why to climb the mountains, even though he got 1 to 2 reasons, the author wrote, found 1 to 2 reasons why he is climbing mountains, the question still remains that then why only Everest? When first question is why people wants to climb the question. People wants to climb the mountains. Now he got the answer. But the another question remains, why Mount Everest only? Why they are choosing that only? Because it is the highest mountain in the world, and it has made many people's attempts failed. Many people failed to climb it and attain the peak. So it is one of the highest mountain in the world, and also it also resisted many attempts of people who are trying to climb it. And to reach the peak of this Everest, it asks for every bit of energy in one's body. This mountain needs each and every bit of energy from the people's body to attain the peak. It is a really very big struggle with ice and huge, very big rocks. It's why it is very harsh, but why you are feeling struggle means it is filled with ice and big rocks. And once you have taken this hard challenge, life is at risk, because once you are fixed to take this challenge, there is no option for you to drop or quit and come in the halfway, even if your life is at a risk, because the route, the passage, the way backwards poses the same difficulties and challenges as the passage upwards. So when you are struggling at 100% to reach at least half of the way, and if you want to again go back, if you want to quit your challenge, the same 100% struggle you have to take again to come back. So that is why it was a greatest and the highest mountain which very less people choose. And another thing, then finally after overcoming all these obstacles, one reaches, when one of anyone reaching the summit, there are feelings of accomplishments, excitement, joy, like happiness, victory, everything they used to have, even sometimes surprised also children. Once they reach the peak, the summit, the feelings which we are having at that time, we will forget our difficulties, we forget our struggles, we forget all the obstacles which came between the way. We only have only excitement, joyfulness, happiness, victory, all sorts of words which are related to the happiness. And there is a feeling of having fought a battle, and when as if you had fought a very big battle and won that game. The author mentions how looking at another peak transported him to another world. This author experienced a very big change within himself, which can only be called mystical. This peak, this summit of Mount Everest, attracted our author to itself, like with the help of its greatness, beauty, difficulties, its structure, shape, and the challenges which it is giving on the way. All these sorts of things were attracting, they attracted our author, and it become it just increased more curiosity in author to attain the summit, whatever matters. And he says it was a challenge difficult to resist, even though it is a very big challenge. He can't resist, he can't take back his challenge. He says that he can't resist the difficulties because his aim is only to reach the peak. So children, with this slide, let us end today's session, because even half of the lesson, still half of the lesson is there to complete. So let us stop with this session for today, with this slide for today, and let us continue the remaining half of the lesson in the next session. Meanwhile, let us do the textbook exercises. So just turn the pages. At the end of the lesson, you can see this comprehension check. I'll just wait children. You just turn the pages and open. At the end of the lesson, you can see comprehension check. Just turn the pages and see. And if you open, you can see there this heading as comprehension check. So first question, be ready with your pencil children. I will just read it and then I want you to mark the right answer. Okay. The first thing, standing on Everest. Standing on Everest. The writer was, when he was standing on the Everest, what was the writer feeling? Overjoyed, very sad, jubilant and sad. Jubilant and sad. Choose the right item. Which is the right answer for this? Overjoyed, very sad, or jubilant and sad? The writer was jubilant and sad. Okay guys. So the answer is third one. Third one. Tick this one. Okay. Now second one. The emotion that gripped him was one of. What is the emotion which was making him, gripping him? Shall we see now? Victory over hurdles, humility and a sense of smallness, greatness and self importance, joy of discovery. When he reached Everest, what did he feel? Did he feel victory over hurdles? No. Humility and a sense of smallness? Yes, even though he had reached the top, still he feels that something in the corner of his heart he felt very sad, right? So he never felt greatness and self importance. He was not joy of, he never felt the joy of discovery. He felt something sadness that from there if he has to take another route, has to come down, right? So the second one is the right answer. Take the second one. Now, third one. The summit of the mind refers to. The summit of the mind. This summit of the mind means what? Refers to great intellectual achievements, the process of maturing mentally and spiritually, overcoming personal ambition for common welfare, living in the world of thought and imagination, the triumph of mind over worldly pleasures for a noble cause, a fuller knowledge of oneself. So, the right thing, mark the item bracket yes, not relevant means items which is not relevant to this sentence. The summit of mind means it refers to, the answer is sixth one, a fuller knowledge of oneself. Now take the sixth one, a fuller knowledge of oneself. Okay, children. Now again turn the page and then come to this exercise. It is in page number 81. Page number 81. Turn this and then you write along with me the answers. I will be explaining you this and telling the answers. You have to write along with me. Okay. Children, in page number 81, if you see this exercise, fill in the blanks in the following dialects, choosing suitable phrases from those given in the box. So, in this exercise, there are nearly 5 questions. It means 5 dialogues. First one, it is a dialogue between a teacher and the people, and the second one is a dialogue between Arun and Ila. Third one is Mary and David, like this. Fourth and fifth also there in the question. Now I am going to teach you only the first one and tell you the answer for the first one. Remaining 2, 3, 4 and 5 is your activity today. You have to find the answer and write the answers in the textbook exercise. Okay guys, that is your activity. You have to find the answer, write it in the textbook, take a snap and post it in the group. Okay, I am expecting everybody will do according to my instructions. Okay guys, so now fill in the blanks in the following dialogues, choosing suitable phrases from the given from those given in the box. So here the phrases are there according the dialogues. We have to select the right word and then we have to enter here. Okay. First, when the teacher is talking, you were away from school without permission. You were away from school without permission. Go to the principal dash and submit your explanation. So what might be the teacher would have asked here? You were away from school without permission. Go to the principal. Go to the principal at hand, at once, at all, at a low, up, at first sight. What will come? At once. It means right now you have to go and meet the principal. Like that the teacher is warning the student. Now right. Answer is at once. You were away from school without permission. Go to the principal at once and submit your explanation. Now people, yes madam, but would you help me write it first? Yes madam, but would you help me write it first? So the first answer is at once. In the same way, for all the dialogues, you have to write the answer and then post it in the group. No need to post the classwork content. Okay children, hope you all will do.
And thanks a lot for staying along with me and listening to my instructions. So, with this, let us end this session, children, and stay safe at home. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. And this is Priya, your English teacher, signing off from Alpha Group of Institutions. Thank you, children. Bye.